I've finally collected all 7 of the Dragon Balls, and now I'll use their power to conquer the YouTube world. Arise, dragon!
What is your wish?
Okay, I want 1 million subscribers.
This is beyond my power. You are too much of a peasant YouTuber now.
Darn it. I figured. You'd be a little bit more nice about it though, Shinron. Or Shinlong, whatever the hell your name is. Anyways, I do have something you can do. I want you to answer the age-old question. The only reason I have this YouTube channel. Dragon Ball. Manga versus anime.
I would say that the manga is better. After all, it is drawn and written by Akira Toriyama. Therefore, it is the most authentic version of Dragon Ball.
Yes! That means it's going to be easy making this video. It's probably not even going to be an hour long, right? Alright, man, you can go. I'm about to leave.
Well, actually, I like the action in the anime better, so I changed my mind.
Oh, okay, so it's gonna be easy, right?
Wrong, the manga was better. I mean, that stupid shit they did with Tao Pai Pai was lame.
Just give me a damn answer. Aren't you supposed to want to leave anyways?
Well, maybe I just wanted to express my opinion about my favorite series. Everyone is always wishing, but no one's asking what Shinlong thinks.
You don't even know the answer, do you? You know what? F it. This was a waste of time. I'm just gonna figure it out myself like I always do. I don't care how long it takes. And you're way better in the anime and the manga. Live action always sucks. And never refer to yourself in the third person. Nobody likes anyone that does that, and you don't do that in the anime or the manga. Stupid dragon. Wasting my time freaking collecting all these goddamn Dragon Balls. And for what? For you to just be wishy-washy? I'm about to leave.
I am not live action, and you're just using the anime version of me because your editing skills are not good enough yet. Maybe you should have wished for better editing skills, you sorry-ass nigga.
Hey, you know what? Right there, buddy. Take that with you.
Your wish has been granted, you sorry-ass nigga.
Ah yes, this is where it all started. The anime that...
No, this one sucks. Go to the next one.
Okay, this is probably the most influential...
This one's bad too. GT stands for Goku time, and it doesn't even have a manga.
Okay, this is for sure what started it all.
This one's good, but we're not talking about it now. I mean, technically the Japanese manga...
Okay, off Shinlong, this is my video. Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball. One of the most popular and highest grossing Japanese series of all time. Americans love anime, and I think it was this one that started that love out for a lot of you. It was definitely part of my anime starter kit. Let's see, we got Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Dragon Ball Z. There were others, but I think we can all agree on these being the 90s anime staple. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Took all your family's money. Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball Z had you planted in front of your TV week to week. Thank you to Nami and Cartoon Network. And Tom. This guy was basically a surrogate father for me. But wait, this video is about Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. And I don't remember seeing Dragon Ball until after Dragon Ball Z was airing on Cartoon Network. And that's because it didn't air until 2001, well after Dragon Ball Z made its debut in America on Fox.
You know their names. Now see the show that started it all.
Now why would you air the first part of the series after the second? But we'll answer that question later. Just know that Dragon Ball was really the series that started it all. and overall it's a bit more of a grounded show than Z. There is still a lot to enjoy, humor, amazing action sequences that are not as over the top as Z, and the origins of the characters we know and love. Son Goku taught us all the pussy pat down, which is one of his greatest techniques and the only way to determine someone's gender. We also got the most action from Master Roshi, everyone's favorite desperate perverted old man. Wanna know the origins of Piccolo and Kami? Well, you won't know that unless you watch Dragon Ball, so go watch it or read it if you haven't. Super, GT, watch or read Dragon Ball and go from there. It's a damn good show because it always seemed like Dragon Ball was one of those anime that stuck closely to its manga counterpart. And really I mean that for Z as well. I think I would have heard if something was drastically different, right? So I thought, why not see if this is true? And after reading the manga and watching the anime, I got to say that there are some pretty noticeable differences. Differences that might make you want to experience one over the other.
Man, it's been a while. This is Breaking Tropes, and welcome back to the Manga vs. Anime series. We try and answer a question that has plagued lovers of Japanese comics and animation for a very long time. A question that is even beyond the power of almighty Shinron. You know what? F that guy. He's rude and he always wants to leave. Luckily, you got me. Manga versus anime. Reading versus watching. Color versus colorless. I think you get the point. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out to one of the GOATs and a true master of the shonen genre, Akira Toriyama. One of the incentives to read or watch Dragon Ball is to see how much it influenced some of the most popular mangaka of today. I really do believe that Akira Toriyama laid one of the first bricks that would lead to the explosive popularity that shonen garners today. So for that, I say thank you. A master, a visionary, rest in peace. You know what? I think we should do something different this time. You see this? This is the 4-star ball. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's pretty iconic throughout the series. What I want you guys to do, I want you to find all 7 Dragon Balls throughout this video. They might look like this, or they might look like this. But if you can find all 7 Dragon Balls and comment with the timestamps of each one below, I got a special prize for you. Now this isn't something that you have to participate in, it's just something fun. I guess it's my way of thanking you for 1,000 subscribers. So, here's a freebie, right there. Let's get started.
As usual, the battle between manga versus anime will be decided by looking at these 4 sacred categories: length and pacing, presentation, story, characters and themes. And as always, beware of the spoiler stop sign, you have been warned. The crowning achievement of Toho Animation, Dragon Ball spanned 153 episodes and was directed and produced largely by a group of familiar faces to Toho. Minoru Okazaki and Daisuke Nishiro directed Dragon Ball, but also assisted with adapting Toriyama's first work, Dr. Slump. Both worked on a lot of other Dragon Ball content, including movies, GT, Kai. Daisuke went on to help with direction and storyboarding for One Piece. Producer Tokizo Tsuchiya also worked on Dr. Slump, while Kinji Shimizu started with Dragon Ball and went on to help produce Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Erase, just to name a few. Dr. Slump was very, very popular in Japan, and it gave Toriyama the notoriety needed to explore other genres. It also gave him a staff of animators, directors, and producers familiar with his work. Dr. Slump himself even makes an appearance in the manga and anime. And even with all this, Toriyama was still not involved with the anime. Quote, "To be honest, I never had much interest in anime, and even when my work was made into anime format, I feel embarrassed to admit that I did not watch much of it. Apologies to the staff." The anime of Dragon Ball first aired in Japan from February 26, 1986 to April 19, 1989.
Now before we compare this to when the manga was serialized, let's take a detour to America.
The anime of Dragon Ball has a strange broadcast history in America, to say the least. It was dubbed and broadcasted a couple different times. First by Harmony Gold USA all the way back in 1989 after its original run in Japan. They basically renamed all the characters and canceled it after test marketing it in several US cities. Goku was named Zero for some reason. It was a dumpster fire and never had a chance. In 1992, if you were lucky enough to live in Hawaii or California, you would have been able to see the Japanese sub on Nippon Golden Network. Those lucky bastards got great weather and Dragon Ball in its original form. Not fair. And finally, a year after its birth, Funimation acquired the license to Dragon Ball and attempted another dub with edited content and different music. Sadly, it lasted 13 episodes and was canceled in 1995.
So basically they just said f it and moved on to Z. Really can't blame them. And that brings us to 2001, when I remember watching Dragon Ball and Toonami. And maybe you remember that. God, I'm old.
Now, to people who grew up in the 90s, this broadcast history isn't really a surprise. Anime was often canceled and rebroadcasted. Dubs were ass, and no one who saw the original would ever utter the modern phrase sub versus dub. I mean, just check out any dub from Fox Kids. Hell, even the 1996 Dragon Ball Z Ocean dub was cringe, although I loved it as a kid.
Having these balls makes me feel something that resembles joy, I think. I want to caress them.
I hate to say it, but it made sense for Funimation to move on to Dragon Ball Z. Anime was new to American audiences, so skipping straight to the more action-packed side of the series did lead to higher ratings. Basically, Z's action was enough to overpower the restrictions of American networks and absolute garbage dubbing. The same could not be said for the first part of the series.
Okay, detour complete. Now back to what we were talking about.
The manga of Dragon Ball ran from November 20th, 1984 to September 27th of 1988. So we have quite a bit of crossover since the anime started roughly a year and 3 months into the manga's run. The anime's first episode aired right after Chapter 63 was released. This was during the Red Ribbon Army arc when Goku confronts Android 8 in Muscle Tower. Now, this wasn't a huge lead for the manga, but the anime did a good job of maintaining a 6 to 8 month gap between the manga serialization. It never ended up catching up to the manga, which is pretty damn impressive, so props to Toho and the showrunners. There aren't a lot of animes that are able to do this. And now for the congruence rating. Let's see, we have 22 anime exclusive episodes that are filler out of 153 episodes, and this gives the anime an 86% accuracy score. I went ahead and added the 5 hybrid canon filler episodes that are hard to classify in the canon category. The anime also gets a bonus for covering 100% of all the manga content in the first part of the Dragon Ball manga. Yep, that's right, no skipping, no alternate endings, and no bullshit.
So that means that we have a perfect content score, which is a manga versus anime first. After adding both scores up, we get a total of 93%, which means that Dragon Ball is a very faithful adaptation.
Now, there isn't a ton of filler in Dragon Ball, and most of it is between arcs and really isn't that bad. There is, however, a ton of additional scenes that can make the anime a chore to get through. Let's break it down real fast. We have additional action scenes, multiple additional Roshi Perfect scenes, additional Crane Hermit scenes, additional lunch scenes, additional General Blue scenes, additional General Red scenes, additional monkey scenes, additional tournament scenes, additional musical montages, additional minor character scenes, additional training scenes. I could easily keep going, but I think you get the point. To put it bluntly, the pace is very slow in the anime, and it's because of all this added fluff. When you compare fight scenes and major plot developments to the manga, the speed difference is actually shocking, which is a noted key difference.
Now I know I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself here, but the slower pace can actually be a good thing in certain situations, and some of those added scenes are much needed.
There are a lot of anime-specific scenes that improve the series, not to mention these additions give some of the pivotal moments in Dragon Ball room to breathe. Goku and Tien being praised by the crowd after their match in the finals is a great example of this. The manga immediately ends the scene after Tien is announced the winner, and it made me feel like I missed a page.
And that wasn't the last time I felt that way. It's really hard to say whether this pacing change is a good or bad thing in the anime. It's really both. Ultimately, I do feel that the anime should have been less than 153 episodes though.
Z did the same thing, which is why Kai was created and is a lot shorter than the original Z anime. There is no Kai for Dragon Ball though. Those exaggerated stare downs are designed to build tension, but they end up doing the opposite and can be very annoying. The animation of Dragon Ball is clean and polished with few struggle frames. Toriyama clearly has a noticeable style, and the showrunners did a decent job of mimicking the compact nature of his panels, while adding scale and style to his basic yet deliberate environments. Now this is 80s anime people, so repeated scenes are present, but mostly just during action scenes. Also, they fade away quite a bit as the series matures. There are some really impressive and ambitious action scenes that are cool and flow nicely. Battle panels from the manga are adapted just how you would expect them to be. However, the anime did take the liberty to add a lot of additional fight scenes. Like most of the battles have added scenes not present in the manga. Sometimes it's a little too much and can make the battles seem more competitive than they are in the manga. But overall, I liked a lot of them, especially the scenes in the martial arts tournament. I mean, how could you say this isn't cool? it wasn't in the manga. And what about this one? Personally, I think that every battle shonen should have the Boston Crab in it, or the walls of Son Goku, whatever. Also, I always loved how the anime did the Ozaru transformations, the heartbeat, the line behind the head, peak presentation, people. Added historical montages about Dragon Ball lore like Korin's Tower or the Red Ribbon Army, or even Piccolo's origins add clarity and are cool additions. Sometimes the Japanese sub has these weird original tracks played during the montages that are sometimes catchy, but always better than the boring narration from the dub narrator. Do they slow things down? Yes, but at least they're creative. And that soundtrack is iconic. It's so engraved into my brain now that I don't even know what else to say about it. Even though that shit sounds like it was recorded in a cardboard box, that shit still bangs. So just listen as we transition. So the story of Dragon Ball covers the early adventures of Son Goku, as you probably already know. Technically, it is separated into 3 major arcs, and there are multiple sagas within those arcs. The Son Goku arc covers the Emperor Pilaf and tournament sagas. Goku goes on his first quest for the Dragon Balls with Bulma, Oolong, Puar, Yamcha, and Roshi being introduced as the main cast. Emperor Pilaf serves as the main villain and is much more prominent in the anime. The 21st World Martial Arts Tournament is a huge highlight to this arc and introduced Luncheon Krillin. Kuririn. Fuck it, I'm just gonna say Krillin. This arc is more of a comedic adventure than anything, but the tournament bouts are a dramatic showcase of the series' future. The Son Goku arc has no filler and the fewest amount of added scenes. The Red Ribbon Army arc covers the Red Ribbon Army, General Blue, Commander Red, and Fortune Teller Baba sagas. Goku goes on a journey to find his grandpa's 4-star ball and ends up annihilating the Red Ribbon Army. I don't know why, but it's very satisfying to watch Goku beat the shit out of grown men who think it's sweet. We are introduced to notable and iconic villains like Tao Pai Pai and General PDF Downloader Blue. This by far is the slowest arc in Dragon Ball, which isn't helped by the plethora of added scenes, 11 filler episodes, and 2 hybrid. You will notice a tonality change around the Commander Red saga. The slapstick humor is reduced and the series starts to take on a more serious tone, mostly due to Tao Pai Pai. Guy's just so mean. And lastly, we have the Piccolo arc. The Tien Shinhan saga sees Goku and his comrades compete in the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, this time with Tien, Chaozu, and the Crane Hermit serving as the villains. The saga officially solidified Dragon Ball as a battle shonen. The anime takes liberties in expanding on Tien's character arc and most of the battle sequences. The King Piccolo saga is by far the most Z storyline and foreshadows the singular villain format that defines the latter half of the series. Remember Pilaf? Well, he releases the great demon King Piccolo, who Goku must stop from conquering the world. Finally, the Piccolo Jr. saga concludes Dragon Ball and sees Piccolo's offspring face off against a matured Goku in the 3rd and last tournament of Dragon Ball. Overall, the Piccolo arc adds some ambitious additional scenes while maintaining a reasonable pace despite the 11 filler and 3 hybrid episodes. And speaking of filler, let's dive a bit deeper into those anime exclusive episodes and assess their impact on the narrative. Now, the first filler sequence takes place right after the start of the Red Ribbon Army arc and is okay. These episodes slow the pace down a bit, but the showrunners did a great job of giving side characters like Namu, Gurren, Chi-Chi, and the Ox King more screen time. The manga takes a long time to reintroduce these characters, so these episodes are worth watching. Also, Colonel Silver gets a lot more characterization and serves as the main villain of these episodes. Sorry, Pilaf. Right after the first tournament concludes, Goku goes on a search for the 4-star ball. He ends up helping Namu's village by confronting Guran and his species, the Guras. Then he gets his dragon radar jacked by a poor stinky kid. He finds it along with Pilaf and his gang, who are attempting to find the balls again. This leads to a wild goose chase involving a fake ball, Colonel Silver, and eventually the Ox King, who attempts to plan a wedding for Chi-Chi and Goku. Goku rizzes up Chi-Chi, which is the best scene in these fillers by far. I mean, come on, how could you not like this? The anime gets a huge dub for developing romance. Anyways, Colonel Silver steals the 6-star ball from Pilaf and returns it to General Red, who commands him to retrieve the next ball. Goku attempts to save nature and some random monkeys from the Red Ribbon Army who are just burning down trying to find the next ball. I feel like there's gotta be some sort of nature preservation allegory here.
Stop destroying the forest now!
Anyways, Goku squares up with Colonel Silver for the first time and runs after the monkey who has the 5-star ball. The ball is lost in the chase, but Goku finds it after spending the night with his monkey friends, and we are back to the canon. Now in the manga, literally 7 pages after Goku leaves the tournament, he finds the 5-star ball, and events proceed the same way with no side quests. Wait a minute. Let me check my notes real quick. Oh wait, he finds the 6-star ball, right? but I thought Rid had the 6-star ball already in his possession. See, look. And in the anime, we already know Silver gives Rid that ball. So what the heck is going on? Well, it's a minor mistake by Toriyama. He probably just forgot where the 6-star ball was when drawing Rid a couple chapters later. However, this is a mistake that the anime corrected by switching the ball. Also, the anime gets points here for showing Rid actually get the ball as opposed to him just having it from the start. Episodes 42 and 44 are hybrid episodes with some canon and mostly filler. Both these episodes introduce anime-exclusive characters, which we'll talk about a little later. Episode 44 leads into 45, which is a strange filler episode right before the General Blue saga. Now, I don't know if there's actually names for these filler sequences, so I'm just going to make up my own. So the next one we'll call Goku's Training Adventures. Basically, the anime decides to cover the training period Goku undergoes before the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament. Yet again, it's okay. We have everything from Goku in a cheesy low-budget action film to Goku in an action fantasy with demons. I would say that the most ambitious decision here was made in episode 82. Tien and Chaozu appear for the first time in the anime, and they have a big dispute with Goku involving a creature called the Inoshikacho. Now, this whole sequence doesn't really change much, but it does add some validation to these episodes. The next sequence of filler episodes occurs when Goku starts his training with Kami. I guess we'll call this one Kami's Training.
Yeah. You know what? Coming up with a name for these episodes, they were painfully boring and by far the hardest to get through. I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep a couple times.
Goku tries to dodge lightning, fights a doll of himself, and learns from a fisherman. I don't know what it is about filler episodes, but there's always one where somebody is fighting themselves. I guess it just is a very low budget option to create some kind of stupid fight scene, but I hate this trope, I really do. The only thing that I can say is maybe good is that we get to see Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin's journey to Korin's tower, which is only mentioned in the manga. The episodes themselves are very bad, and I would say very skippable. Maybe just throw them on when you need to go to sleep. And lastly, we have the final episodes of the series. I have dubbed the Goku and Chi-Chi adventure. Yes, I have clearly put a lot of effort into naming these filler, so shut the f up. The Ox King plans a wedding for Goku and Chi-Chi, but his home gets set on fire. Again. Motherfucker, just move. Basically, Goku and Chi-Chi go on a wild goose chase looking for the Bancho fan to put the flames out. And the whole time they are looking, the Ox King is in his mansion trying to survive the flames. They are looking for a whole 5 episodes. How is he not dead by then? Yes, these episodes are flawed and a bit goofy, but it's nice to see Goku and Chi-Chi's relationship get some screen time. I honestly think a lot of you guys will like these episodes. I can say I kind of enjoyed them. And this is coming from a guy who made a whole 20-minute video talking about how much he hates filler. So you know I'm telling the truth. So the filler episodes are a mixed bag of good, bad, ugly, and ambitious. They do add a little to the series, which is better than nothing. They don't overstay their welcome, so f it, give them a shot. You might like them. For this reason, I have decided to not fault the anime too much here. If filler is going to be used in any anime, it should be handled like this. Smart, short, and with a little bit of substance. Okay, so for this category, we're going to list characters that have the most changes in the anime. Ironically enough, they all ended up being villains, so I guess this is where the directors of the anime decided to put their own originality. Emperor Pilaf. Pilaf is in a ton more scenes and is more of a comic relief character than a villain. It's kind of like the showrunners just added him in whenever they had empty space in the story. He shows up in episode 1 and is goofier than in the manga. I thought of anime Pilaf, Shu, and Mai as the Three Stooges, or Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers, or Team Rocket from Pokemon. The last one might be the best comparison. Anyways, every time they are on screen, something dumb or goofy happens. In the manga, they are a bit more serious. This has a lot to do with the added scenes, filler, and Pilaf's introduction, but we'll get to that a little later. Tien Shinhan, aka Tien, aka Ten. The anime does a better job of showing the audience how uncertain and forced his villainy is. You really get the feeling he is struggling with his identity. Tien the martial artist versus Tien the aspiring assassin. This is shown subtly through the added scenes and dialogue, so when he finally decides to disobey the Crane Hermit, it doesn't feel like a complete 180. For example, there's this scene in episode 97 right before Tien fights Goku in the finals, where he is struggling to meditate because he is thinking about Roshi telling him to abandon being a villain. The anime intelligently sprinkles these scenes throughout the tournament, and they add a lot to the character. Then we have the hybrid episode 107, in which Tien must confront a martial artist he maimed in the past in order to get a Dragon Ball in the present, during the King Piccolo saga. So not only do we see Tien struggle with his identity, we see him have to confront the demons of his past. Now this sequence is only half an episode long, but it's the type of ambitious characterization I love to see in anime. Tao Pai Pai, aka General Tao. There are a ton of added scenes with this character that portray him as being more cunning and intelligent than his manga counterpart. I mean, dude is a straight badass. Check out this scene where he reflects a bullet from a would-be assassin using his slipper. Or this scene where he heats up a hot tub with his bare hand, then cracks an egg on his forehead and eats it. I'm pretty sure no one else has done this in anime history, so he might be a Hall of Fame villain if you ask me. Anyways, Tao ends up climbing Korin's tower in the anime and is tricked by him before he is ultimately defeated by Goku. I'll go over this sequence in detail a little later. Piccolo Jr., aka Piccolo. So the anime portrays Piccolo as more relatable from the jump, almost as if they are foreshadowing him being a good guy. There are these adolescent scenes which are overall a bit strange. Piccolo appears to be mad jelly over this family. Maybe he wants his own. Or he's just evil and wants to f up their house. These scenes are ambiguous at best, and they really make you think about the character. Then we have Piccolo's first appearance as an adult. He saves a mother and child from being crushed to death at the tournament. This is the first scene of a hero, not a villain, and it confuses the hell out of me. What were the directors thinking? He literally looks like a hero here, minus the dark imagery, and the green skin, and the mean look. Okay, maybe more like a Martian Man type hero, or an anti-hero. Am I tripping with this interpretation? It's not like there are other major differences in the anime. Regardless, it's very interesting. And speaking of interesting, let's move on to our next segment. Rank that filler character. Filler characters usually suck, but Toriyama made most of them up. So let's rank that filler character. Husky, a master thief who accepts the job of stealing the Dragon Balls from Goku and is employed by the Red Ribbon Army in episodes 44 and 45. He is eventually defeated by Goku. Apparently this character was inspired by a character named Pink in a one-shot manga Toriyama created. She gets a D because she looks exactly like Lunch and acts like her bad side. Shula. Goku has to fight him in order to save a village and its princess from being overrun by demons. This takes place during Goku's training adventures. He resembles the Hindu god Shiva. Let's give him a C because he looks original, but his weakness is f***ing light in a show where motherfuckers shoot light from their hands. Golden Horn and Silver Horn, aka Terror and Plague. Goku stumbles on a village they are terrorizing and defeats them. They use a Gru to suck out the souls of the villagers. This is during Goku's training adventures as well. These characters are based on Gold Horn Great King and Silver Horn Great King from Journey to the West, which served as the main inspiration for Dragon Ball. Now, do these characters remind you of anyone else? How about the Gold and Silver brothers from Naruto, Ken and Gen, aka the Two Lights? They also had a Gru that sucks out the souls of people as well, and that's because they were based on the Journey to the West characters too. Just a fun fact. So because of all this, they get a B+. Their episode isn't that bad either. It's hard to identify any themes in the Dragon Ball anime that really stand out over the manga. However, I think a lot of the extra scenes do a good job of strengthening the cliché shonen elements. Redemption, courage in the face of evil, rivalry, perseverance, loss are all staples to the Dragon Ball series. The anime adds depth, but I wouldn't say that this changes things drastically. It is something you definitely will notice though. If nothing else, the additions give you more time to think about the characters and their motives. The Dragon Ball manga debuted in 1984 and was a major staple of Weekly Shonen Jump that caused the magazine to reach new heights. The concept of Dragon Ball started from a comment from one of Toriyama's editors, Kazuhiko Torishima, who suggested that Toriyama create a Kung Fu shonen due to his love for Kung Fu films. Toriyama went on to create two one-shots that would greatly inspire Dragon Ball. One was Dragon Boy and the other was The Adventures of Tongpu. And just from looking at some of these panels, you can clearly see some of the Dragon Ball concepts in their early stages. One thing you might not know about the manga is that Viz Media, who licensed Dragon Ball in North America, split the manga into Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. This was due largely to the popularity of the Dragon Ball Z anime in America. Dragon Ball ends at volume 16, chapter 194 in America. However, the Japanese version is Dragon Ball throughout, which is a bit confusing. I kinda do favor this change because there really should be a way to distinguish the first part of Dragon Ball from the second, so America didn't f things up too badly. I will say I hate the fact that Dragon Ball Z starts over at 1 again for American audiences. It just makes things very confusing. Anyways, when you hear someone refer to Dragon Ball Z as Dragon Ball, technically they are correct. Humble yourself, you lowly peasant. The manga is lightning fast, point blank period. Unlike the anime, there is no stalling or filler. Tournament battles happen back to back, which is refreshing after watching all the stalled out filler scenes that tempt you into fast forwarding to the action. I didn't, but I thought about it. Yeah, you remember all those Yamcha scenes where he's listening to the tournament battles from his hospital bed after getting his leg broke by Tien? Not in the manga. I mean, who wants to watch cripple Yamcha anyways? What about Roshi holding pads for Krillin and Goku to show off in front of groupies before Goku's fight with Panput? That's not there either, and haven't we had enough of Roshi's perversion? These scenes do nothing but slow things down, and yes, the series is better without them, but with great speed comes great responsibility, and I think the manga reneges on its duty to flesh out important scenes. Beginnings and endings to arcs can feel a bit rushed and anticlimactic. Pivotal moments come and go with little to no processing time. both for the audience and the characters. I touch on this more in the story and listed differences sections, so feel free to skip ahead. I'll give you a quick example here though. After Goku defeats Krillin in the semifinals, he immediately squares off with Tien. There's no break here, the finals just start right after the match. In the anime, the finals take place a day later, and with more scenes in between. Also, although we get to the battle scenes quicker, the scenes themselves are a bit too fast at times. It's not really a big deal, but if we're comparing it to the anime, it should be mentioned. Sometimes it's okay to have a good old slogged out slobber knocker. Do I sound conflicted with this category? Well, that's because it was the toughest to call. In drawing comics, what is your ratio of visual information to textual information? Really, as far as information is concerned, the visual side is bigger. With what stance do you view words? At any rate, I don't waste much time blathering on about useless things. As a rule, you can understand the content to a certain extent with just the pictures, and words are nothing more than a supplement to them. I had that drilled into me by my first editor. I guess you could say, if you're going to come out and say something, then make it something that will strengthen the characterization even further, is what I mean. I would describe Toriyama's art style as clean, compact, and concise. There's not a lot of exposition or dialogue, even when you expect it. And from the quote I just read, this is clearly by design. Nothing stands out as overly detailed, but the consistency and clarity of each panel is impressive and distinctive. It really makes me wish more mangakas emphasize simplicity over splashy, ambitious panels. Anyone read the last fight in JJK? Look at that. Then look at this. Case in point. The manga's art is a bit more textured and detailed than the anime. At times, it kind of reminds me a bit of American newspaper comic strips, kind of like Garfield or the Peanuts. Toriyama has a short, compact style, rarely using 1 or 2 page panels. This is refreshing to see, especially when you look at how today's manga excessively uses massive panels to heighten drama. Characters often seem like they are jumping out of the comic. Backgrounds are usually drawn out, except for when conveying action or movement. The action panels are fast and impactful. I love how Toriyama adds slight nuance to action scenes, making them easy to understand. You should be able to identify manga sequences easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Toriyama was a master at this. All this makes for a fast, bouncy, and visually stimulating reading experience. Now this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Look how this chapter starts. Goku kicks this poor bald guy in the head. Boom, he's knocked out cold. Then he kicks 2 other dudes. They're properly knocked out cold. Now you see these 2 dudes shooting at him. And the cool thing about these panels is that you don't really need to be reading anything. It's very clear what's happening just from looking at it. Okay, the dudes shoot, big giant missile at Goku. Boom, no effect. Goku's angry now. And these guys are scared. Now Goku comes, pushes the table that they're shooting behind against them. They're out cold. Now look at these dudes run like a bunch of pussies. Now see, this is what I'm talking about. Akira Toriyama's art style. It's so clear, it's concise, it's fast, and it's easy to understand. That's the key thing here. It's very easy to understand. Now imagine picking up this manga for the first time and reading this sequence. If you like action, it's guaranteed to appeal to you. The manga covers the same plot points as the anime. However, there are a few sequences that differ drastically from the anime, so we're going to go over some of those sequences, starting with Pilaf's first appearance. Emperor Pilaf, Maya, and Shu don't show up until volume 2 of the manga, and their appearance makes them seem like more of a threat. They first appear in chapter 18 right after Goku defeats the rabbit mob. Maya and Shu blow up the car Goku, Bulma, and Oolong are in and steal the Dragon Balls just like in the anime. Maya and Shu bring the balls back to Pilaf, who really just seems like your average villain. A couple of pages later, we get a dad joke from Maya and some pretty funny fourth wall humor from Pilaf himself. A couple more gags later, and we realize that Pilaf is just as goofy and flawed as pretty much every other character in this manga so far. In the anime, Pilaf is first introduced finding a Dragon Ball along with Shu and Maya in episode 1. He appears timid and ignorant to how the balls work as he thinks he can just make a wish with one. His second scene in episode 2 has him farting and blaming it on Shu. Honestly, shit's funny, and there is no doubt this is a gag character disguised as a villain. The gags pretty much continue as the story goes on, and Pilaf, Maya, and Shu are injected into a lot more plot points as they attempt to steal the Dragon Balls. Too many to mention really, but just know by the time that Shu blows up the car in episode 10, they have already thoroughly been introduced in the anime. Also, the anime shows Shu in a mech shooting the missile at the car, while the manga doesn't. See what I mean about the pacing? Like, how would you know that a missile was shot here? When I first read it, I honestly thought that the car was hit by some kind of landmine. Anyways, I think you could see that the anime overdoes it a little with Pilaf. In most of the added scenes, he's not affecting the plot at all. This makes him seem inconsequential when we get to the canon material. I guess you don't really take the character seriously anyways though. The first battle between Tao, Pai Pai, and Goku takes place in chapter 86 and is much quicker in the manga. It is literally 23 panels and is a prime example of how the manga can be a little bit too fast. The anime does a much better job here of stretching things out and making the battle feel more dramatic. Yes, Tao is much stronger than Goku at this point, so it should be a quick beatdown, but 23 panels is still too short. During chapters 90 through 92, Tao, Pai Pai, and Goku fight for the second time and the pacing is much better. In the middle of the battle, Goku lets Tao wail on him for a while for dramatic effect. Goku gets up, Tao gets desperate, grenade gets kicked, Tao goes boom. We know the story. Now in the anime, the final battle between Tao and Goku is split into two battles, which takes place in episodes 63 and 64. Tao realizes that Goku has gotten stronger by drinking the super spirit water after climbing Korin's tower, just like in the manga. However, Tao actually decides to climb the tower himself. Yep, homie really hit the pause button on the battle. He kicks a rock at Oppa to distract Goku and makes his way up Korin's tower. He meets Korin, does zero self-reflection after looking into the vision jars, and drinks the sacred placebo water.
You will pay dearly for trying to fool me.
Korin tricks him into thinking drinking the water gave him extra power. Basically, he doesn't want him getting stronger going down the tower like Goku did, so he gives him a flying fugazi and makes him fall all the way down to where Goku is. The battle resumes and Goku lets Tao beat his ass just like in the manga. Except this time the audience might think that Tao got stronger. He didn't. At least not enough to make a difference. Goku gets up, Tao gets desperate, grenade gets kicked, Tao goes boom. One of the best scenes in the anime is Krillin's death. It's eerie, ominous, and purposefully slow. However, the manga sequence is quite dull in comparison. In the manga, right after the tournament ends, everyone is together talking to Tien. Goku says that he forgot his 4-star ball and Krillin goes to retrieve it. 6 panels of brief dialogue later, Krillin is heard screaming from a close-by room. The crew finds him dead along with Goku, and yes, it's sudden and shocking, but also hollow. No foreshadowing, just a dead, bald little boy. So in chapter 134, Krillin's death makes up roughly 1/4 of the chapter. Now in the anime, the pace, length, and tone of this scene is much different. In episode 101, Goku says goodbye to Krillin for the last time. The anime does a nice job of using select shots to signal to the audience that something bad is going to happen. The scene cuts to the Z-Warriors eating food and enjoying themselves, while Goku vows to wait for Krillin to retrieve his ball before eating. You can really tell that something is off with Goku. He has this weird premonition that Krillin is in danger and rushes to him alone to find him dead. Events from here are relatively the same, but I found it ironic that Goku was waiting for Krillin to eat and ended up not eating at all. And then because he didn't eat, he was unable to defeat Krillin's killer, Tambourine. So this scene even has some added depth to it in the anime. How Goku obtains the super water of the gods and the explanation of what it is different in the manga. During chapter 151, Korin explains that it is a toxin that the body must survive in order to become stronger. He says that he tried it before but spat it out and that 14 have tried to drink it and no one survived. The big difference here is that after Yajirobe attempts to persuade Goku not to try it, Korin just pulls it out and Goku tries it. He's in pain for a while and then he's just overflowing with power. This all happens in one chapter. It's almost like Goku found a cheat code or something. Now the anime adds a lot to this scene and kind of makes it more logical. During episode 115 of the anime, Korin says that Goku must find the water in a dangerous ice labyrinth. Yajirobe ends up accidentally coming along and the whole thing feels like a filler episode. As a matter of fact, it basically is. This continues into episode 116 as the darkness tests Goku to see if he's worthy of the water. Basically, the darkness wants him to float down here.
Only a fool would take on Piccolo. Plus, if you stay here, you'll have perpetual existence.
What does that mean?
Goku, it means you'll live forever.
Oh, hey, I have got a great idea. Why don't we stay down here until Piccolo dies? I mean, it has got to happen sometime.
Yes, now that is perfect. Can you imagine how much training we could do, Goku?
But Goku doesn't fall for it. Then it wants him to sacrifice Yajirobe, but he doesn't do that either. Then finally, the darkness awards him the super sacred water. The darkness then proceeds to tell Goku the same thing that Korin did in the manga. Poison, risk, 14 have tried, 0 survived, yada yada yada. The scene after is pretty much exactly the same except the darkness takes the place of Korin. And Yajirobe doesn't know how many hours Goku is in pain. In the manga, he says he's been in pain for 6 hours. Now, I'm certain that the showrunners probably did this to slow this sequence down. I mean, it's pretty cheap Goku can get a power boost with little effort. But personally, I prefer this happening fast, as the journey in the anime was boring and screamed of low budget. I mean, there's this weird scene where the darkness is trying to persuade Goku to stay, and it really just seems like they're reusing footage here. I mean, I could be wrong, this could be original footage, but either way, this isn't anything new. During chapter 153, which is right when Tien is about to get out of the aircraft to confront Piccolo by himself, he realizes that the rice cooker is cracked. He really got 3 eyes and he couldn't see this until now? This leads Tien to say fuck it, and he just commits to fighting Piccolo without the Mufuba. Yeah, all that training out the window. Just gonna say it's kind of lame that he learns this technique and proceeds to never use it in the manga. Anyways, the scene is pretty basic from here. Piccolo gives birth to Drum, and Tien gets his ass beat by him until Goku comes and saves the day. Now in the anime, these events take place during episode 118. However, the container is not cracked. Tien remains pretty confident he can land the Mufuba until Piccolo gives birth to Drum. Afterwards, Tien gets flustered because he doesn't want to waste energy fighting him. He tries to get to Piccolo but is blocked by Drum. Tien eventually says fuck it and throws hands with Drum. The fight continues as it does in the manga, but with Tien becoming more anxious to use the Mufuba. After a few anime exclusive scenes, Tien brings out the rice cooker and uses the Mufuba. However, Drum sacrifices himself to save Piccolo and is caught in the spell, but Piccolo destroys the jar before Drum is sealed. Piccolo then commands Drum to crush Tien's heart and gouge out his eyes, and we see one of the most violent scenes in the series. I can't even show it. I'm just kidding. Goku arrives to save the day just like in the manga, and really everything else is the same. Now there are also problems with this scene, but I do think that this is done better than in the manga.
この私に魔風魔をかけ損ねたおかげで貴様は死ぬのを何秒か先に伸ばすことができたわけだ。
One, it is never explained how Tien didn't die from using the Mufuba. It's supposed to kill you, but I like to think that Tien could just regularly use techniques that are supposed to deplete life force, kind of like the Kikoho. 2, what the hell was Tien thinking? After he saw 2 people with Piccolo, he should have known that the Mufuba was not an option. Like, even if you seal him, there are 2 people ready to open the jar. Maybe you can kill Piano quick, but Drum would easily be able to open that jar. Maybe Tien just wanted to use that shit. I mean, he does consistently use multiple techniques that are not effective. Dude is literally the king of the failed technique. Now, whether or not these scenes are better in the manga or the anime is up to you. However, if you're going to say that the anime scenes added nothing to the narrative, then I'm calling you a liar. Overall, it really comes down to preference. The additional peel-off scenes and sacred water scenes were a bit boring to me, and I would say that these situations were handled better in the manga. On the other hand, the Tao Pai Pai, Mufuba, and Krillin death scenes were more impactful in the anime. I would also say that they were more logical. When it comes to this category, there really is a case to be made on both sides, which made it pretty tough to call. There are a lot less scenes with the major villains in the manga, and that should be pretty evident from what we just went over. And even a lot of the secondary villains don't get as many scenes as they do in the anime. Now, I wouldn't say that this is something that negatively impacts the manga. However, it is very noticeable, and another key difference. Emperor Pilaf. He is in fewer plot points as mentioned before, which made his humor funnier and it felt like he didn't overstay his welcome in the manga. Since he is not as much of a staple character, it was actually a bit surprising when he did show up again to affect the plot, like in the Baba and King Piccolo sagas. Overall, he's managed better in the manga. Tien, aka Tien Shinhan, aka Ten. Gone are the scenes showing any type of internal conflict the character might have had during the martial arts tournament. Without these added scenes, his switch from good to evil felt frivolous at best. His conversation with Roshi after their battle in chapter 125 still exists, but it's far from enough to justify any change in the character. After his change from bad to good, there isn't much mentioned of his past. Tao Pai Pai. There's just not as much with this character, which is a bit disappointing because he's probably my favorite villain in early Dragon Ball. You could make the argument that he isn't as intelligent as his anime counterpart because he doesn't at least try to obtain the same power Goku has. But that might be a stretch. He does dispose of General Blue in 8 panels as opposed to their prolonged fight in the anime, so he's still a badass. Piccolo Jr., aka Piccolo. No weird ambiguous scenes of his adolescence are present in the manga. We only get this one panel shortly after King Piccolo gives birth to him. His first appearance as an adult is during the prelims of the last martial arts tournament, unlike in the anime. So there is no weird heroic scene here. I think it's pretty obvious he is as evil as his father at this point in the story, and his characterization is consistent throughout, which I appreciated after seeing his portrayal in the anime. Now there are for sure thematic elements in the manga, don't get me wrong, but you really have to think about them more. Tien's change is definitely a redemption arc as he goes from an aspiring assassin to a guy willing to sacrifice himself to save the world. Goku's decision to drink the sacred water is courage in the face of evil, and Krillin's death gave our heroes the first taste of loss. But without the added depth the anime provides, these thematic elements were not as strong, and this was mostly because of the pace of the manga. I read them and didn't really think twice. However, the manga definitely makes up for this in other ways. Now here's a list of 15 differences between manga and anime. In the anime, right before entering Pilaf's castle, Goku and the crew destroy a bunch of traps before meeting Pilaf for the first time. Later on, there's this weird sequence where Goku and the crew get stuck in a pinball trap. Pilaf then summons the dragon, and later on attempts to battle Great Ape Goku in a plane after he transforms. The plane shoots a missile that knocks Goku down, but he gets up and hits it with a piece of the castle. In the manga, the sequence before Pilaf summons the dragon is much quicker. There are no extra traps or pinball sequence. Also, Pilaf and his crew do not attempt to battle Great Ape Goku as they do in the anime. They try to escape in a plane, but are hit by a piece of the castle thrown by Goku just like in the anime. In the anime, Lunch is first introduced via a wanted poster in a bar. Blue Lunch walks into the bar and is hit on by a bounty hunter before sneezing and changing into Blonde Lunch. She knocks the bounty hunter into a wall, fucks the place up, and then leaves. Shortly after, she uses a bazooka to derail a train and rob it. You can definitely tell that Lunch is one crazy ass bitch. We then see her escaping from the cops in a moped. In the manga, there is no bar scene. Instead, Lunch is first seen escaping from the cops in a moped with blonde hair, before she sneezes and Goku and Krillin save her. In the anime, during Goku's battle with Jackie Chan pulls out a chart showing that he is Roshi's cousin in order to dispel suspicion after Goku guesses he is one of Roshi's relatives. In the manga, this scene doesn't happen at all. But I would say that this is a pretty good addition by the anime. You would think Jackie Chan would have some kind of explanation ready if somebody did question his identity. In the anime, after Major Purple aka Ninja Murasaki is defeated in episode 39, Goku and Android 8 have to navigate a maze controlled by General White before reaching his headquarters. This sequence takes up a little less than half the episode. In the manga, after Purple is defeated, Goku and Android 8 head straight to White's headquarters. 8 does guide Goku through a maze that leads to General White, but the sequence is only 2 pages. In the anime, episode 42 is mostly a filler episode that takes place after General White is defeated. An anime-exclusive character named Dr. Flappy removes a bomb from Android 8, and Major Purple returns. In the manga, a bomb is not removed from Android 8 and Major Purple does not return. It was a pretty boring filler episode anyways. Goku and Android 8 spend the night with Suna and her family, and Goku leaves for West City afterwards, just like in the anime. In the anime, when Goku and General Blue are in Penguin Village, there are a ton of additional scenes, like the ones with these police officers or these weird aliens. Perhaps the weirdest scene is when General Blue is clearly attracted to this robot child and tries to ask him out on a date. Then he gets mad when he is rejected. Yeah, I guess Blue's kind of a weird guy. Not sure what the directors were thinking here. In the manga, the Penguin Village scene is a lot quicker and there are no additional scenes with the officers or aliens. Also, Blue is not portrayed as a weird guy, because that scene never existed. He's just trying to hurt a robot child, not date one. I would personally say that that's more normal. In the anime, Bora and Oppa are introduced fishing and Bora protects Oppa from a giant fish. It's a real wholesome father-son moment the two have. Then General Yellow forces a volcano to erupt and Bora and Oppa stumble on the 4-star ball in the debris. Afterwards, they both confront General Yellow. Although these scenes are short, they add a bit more depth to Bora and Oppa's relationship, which makes Tao killing Bora more impactful and sad. In the manga, Bora and Oppa are first seen confronting the Red Ribbon Army and General Yellow over the 4-star ball. Then shortly after, Bora kills all the army soldiers present just like in the anime. So no father-son fishing moment. Bora is later killed by Tao. Not as sad. Anime did it better here. In the anime, Goku's training with Corn for the first time is longer and the Senzu beans are introduced for the first time. Also, Goku looks at the past, present, and future in Corn's jars and mimics Corn's movement in order to take the sacred water from him. In the manga, Goku's first trip is much faster and does not include any jar visions or mimicking. Goku just gets stronger and takes the sacred water from Corn. Manga did it better here. In the anime, when Officer Black fights Goku, Red attempts to crush them both in the trap room. Black confronts Red about this and overhears him talking about his wish to get taller, then kills him. In general, there are a lot of additional Red scenes in the anime. See what I did there? That's a good old-fashioned Dragon Ball pun. In the manga, Black kills General Red before he fights Goku after hearing about his plan to use the Dragon Balls to get taller. There is no trap room fight scene. The manga doesn't even include his cute little furry companion. Okay, maybe not so cute. In the anime, there are a ton of added scenes with the Crane Hermit. He even tries to assassinate Goku in his sleep after Chaozu loses to Krillin. Guy just wants revenge for his bro. Ultimately, this is stopped by Tien, who vows to avenge Tao. In the manga, the Crane Hermit is in a lot less scenes and doesn't really do a whole lot. His assassination attempt does not happen. I thought it was a pretty good scene, so the anime gets the nod here. In the anime, after Tien realizes that the Crane Hermit and Chaozu have been cheating by restraining Goku during their battle, he lets Goku damage him to even out the fight.
You didn't even throw a single punch.
I've paid my debt.
What?
Chaozu's interference gave me an unfair advantage.
In the manga, Tien continues fighting Goku for real after he realizes what's going on. It's pretty cheap if you ask me. In the anime, we see a flashback when Goku confronts Tambourine for the first time after Tambourine kills Krillin. It depicts in detail Tambourine killing Krillin. Literally, he gets footstooled. It's pretty tragic. In the manga, there is no flashback of Tambourine killing Krillin, so you never get to see what happened. This was an excellent addition by the anime. In the anime, we see Tambourine kill Choppa-O, Panput, and Bacterian in detail, and we also see Wolfman's dead corpse floating in a river. In the manga, we don't see Tambourine kill Choppa-O, Panput, or Bacterian. These murders occur off-screen. Tambourine killing Gurren, though, is a bit more brutal. In the anime, during the King Piccolo saga, Roshi, Tien, and Chaozu's search for the Dragon Balls is shown in detail. We see them collect all the balls except the 4 and 1-star balls Piccolo ends up obtaining. This search is pretty much uneventful, except for Tien reuniting with the martial artist he crippled. In the manga, the search is not shown. We just see them collect the 3-star ball, and then they just have all the balls before confronting Piccolo. In the anime, there are a ton of added scenes before King Piccolo's final fight with Goku. This slows the pace down a lot. Some of these additional scenes include the King's 20th anniversary commencement celebration, Suna in the city representing her village and Android 8 going to help her, scenes with Bulma, Yamcha, Lunch, and Oolong at Kami House, Chi-Chi and the Ox King being saved by Goku, and additional Chi-Chi and Ox King scenes in episode 118, scenes with people breaking out of jail in Anarchy after King Piccolo's announcement, scenes with Bulma's parents taking forever to leave their mansion after Piccolo declares he will destroy the city, spliced filler canon scenes with these escaped convicts somehow finding Kami House and getting their ass beat by Yamcha and Lunch. And there's probably more I'm forgetting. In the manga, none of these scenes exist. Piccolo takes the king hostage, makes an announcement about his reign, and Tien confronts him. All in 5 chapters. Also, Goku drinks the super sacred water during this sequence as well. I liked what the showrunners tried here, but I think they overdid it with the scenes. Manga gets the nod here. And here's a bonus. In the anime, Roshi telling the story of his past with King Piccolo is much more detailed and better. We get a full flashback narrated by Roshi. There's also some cool similarities between Mutahito's battles with Piccolo and later on Roshi's battle with King Piccolo. Unfortunately, the manga lightly skims over Roshi's past and there is no flashback. We only get 5 panels explaining everything. Boo! The manga takes length and pacing. This was by far the toughest category to call, and I could see it both ways. The additional scenes add a lot to the series, but I prefer my shonen fast, so the manga gets the nod here. Presentation goes to the manga as well. Toriyama's art style is simple, unique, refreshing, and better than the animation of the anime. The anime takes story due to its ambitious changes and fleshed out scenes. The anime also takes characters and themes, largely for the same reasons. So this was pretty close, but I guess I gotta choose.
So I guess it comes down to my personal opinion. I really like the anime. It's a classic and should be watched by everybody. But moving forward, I don't think I have enough time to watch 153 episodes. I can get through the manga a lot quicker, so moving forward, I'm probably just going to read the manga, and if I have time, I'll watch the anime. But let's talk about what you should do. I really think that this is one where you can choose. If you want a quicker experience with less content, then read the manga. If you want a longer experience with more depth, then watch the anime. I really think it's pretty close, and that's because the anime is a great adaptation. So choose whichever one you want and be satisfied with your decision. So I want to say thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. It means a lot to me. There should be a lot more coming out on this channel. I'm thinking about doing a lot of shorter content, so you guys already seen the micro reviews, some OVA suggestions, things like that. I'll probably do more talking face videos, kind of like this one, but like not scripted. So if you guys have any suggestions of what you want to see on the channel moving forward, let me know. I think I'm probably going to do some top 10s as well. So yeah, join the Breaking Chokes family, man. I'm going to be very busy moving forward now, so I'm not going to say that there's going to be a manga versus anime anytime soon. Those take forever. Literally just took me like 3 months to do. Okay, got a job, guys. But yeah, you know, subscribe, like, you know, join the Breaking Chokes family. I would greatly appreciate it. I think I put pretty good content out, if you ask me. I don't know. And if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll immediately start working on a Dragon Ball Z manga versus anime. And that's a promise. Shouldn't be too hard. I got 1,000 subscribers.
Will this video get enough likes for breaking tropes to do Dragon Ball Z?
I mean, I said...
Will another series be covered in this storied franchise?
I don't know.
Find out by liking, commenting, and subscribing and tuning in to the next episode of Manga vs. Anime.
What a drag.
NANI?!